Today I want to talk about Earthships, specifically whether or not you should build one. My wife and I run a company called Adaptive Habitat, and in that company we design resilient homes, acreages, and farms. And one of the questions that we get asked most often is, should I build an Earthship? So before I get into the subject, I just want to mention a little bit about Earthships. So Earthships are basically earth-sheltered homes, and the traditional way of building them would be to use used tires, filling them up with sand or subsoil or any material that you have basically on site that's freely available to you. And it was originally developed by a guy named Mike Reynolds in New Mexico. And so what I want to say about it is that Mike got a ton of stuff right. There's a lot of stuff about Earthships that I really, really like. They pretty much don't need any kind of moving parts for a mechanical system, for air exchange. They're passive solar. They use garbage that's indigenous to the planet. I think that's one of his sayings. So there's a lot of good stuff about an Earthship. However, there's a few things that you need to know about with regards to Earthships before you go and build one. The other thing that I should mention too is that it's worth getting Mike Reynolds' books because he's got a lot of great ideas. He's really innovated a lot on how to capture rainwater. He's innovated a lot with renewable energy and site orientation as well as wastewater systems. So I really admire Mike for all the work that he's done in this space. So the three things that you need to be aware of before you go and make the decision to actually go and build an Earthship are as follows. So number one is labor. A lot of people don't realize this, but each tire that you pound with dirt takes about 400 pounds of earth in order to fully compact the tire out for it to become basically a brick. I mean, what you're doing is basically creating rubber-contained bricks. Now, and Michelle and I went to go to the Earthship Institute down in New Mexico, and we tried pounding tires for a while. And a really fit expert tire pounder can pound about 8 tires per day, which is crazy. So if you think about the average Earthship having over 1,800 tires, depending on the number of people you have pounding tires, it can be 2, 3, 4 years of tire pounding, which is why a lot of times people build these Earthships with large communities of individuals. Mike Reynolds himself has a crew of people that will go around the world building Earthships. In fact, one of our students recently had one built near Lethbridge. So you really have to go into this knowing that you're in it for a pile of labor. And that's why there's a lot of Earthships around the country that have never really been finished. So go into it with the right assumption. Number two, this is something that I don't hear people talking about very often, but it's radon. So radon is becoming an issue that people are becoming aware of. Now, I would say radon's always been an issue, but we've just never measured it. In our consulting service now, we're starting to actually measure radon in people's homes so that we can actually diagnose the problem correctly. Radon is now second, or it could be the leading cause of lung cancer in Canada because people are stopping smoking. So radon is now becoming the primary contributing factor for lung cancer. So a very important thing to consider. Now, if you're living underground, if you're living in an earth-sheltered building and there's radon there, you're absolutely going to get radon in your lungs. Now, radon is odorless, it's invisible, and so the only way you can detect it is with a radioactive radon meter, which basically measures for radioactivity in the air. So something to consider. If you're going to build an Earthship or an earth-sheltered home, check to see if you have radon issues on your particular area. Now, lastly, a good friend of mine from Dirtcraft Natural Building has spent a significant amount of time in Earthships and says that he feels like it's a really enclosed space. You don't have windows to the left and to the right of you, and so it can feel almost prison-like. Now, some people will be more sensitive to this than others, but I think it's really important that you go and spend time in an Earthship before you go and build one. I mean, you're talking about spending up to 2 years of your life to build one of these things, and then you're going to live in it for several years. And so you really want to make sure that you're comfortable living within the space before you go and construct one of these things. Hopefully you found this video interesting. If you want more information like this, make sure you subscribe to our channel below and check us out at vergepermaculture.ca and adaptivehabitat.ca.
you.